This is the Sony FX3 that we used to film our first feature-length documentary. We paired this beast of a camera with the Sirui 50mm anamorphic lens for our B-roll, while opting to use the Sony 24-70 2.8 and the Sony 70-200 2.8 for our interviews. This compact little package was the perfect rig for us because of the conditions that we were in most of our filming. We would be running around the mountains or running around the Unega property trying to catch the dogs in their best light. It's wild to think that we filmed outside when temperatures were as low as minus 14 degrees Fahrenheit without factoring in wind chill. And then on the opposite end, we filmed in nearly over 100 degrees Fahrenheit conditions. I don't even know how many times. Having something this small allowed us to be ready to film in a matter of moments. And because it was relatively lightweight, allowed us to be out for long periods of time filming without needing a break. We opted to shoot anamorphic because I am a huge fan of the light flares and the softness of the lenses, and it was a fun challenge since we have never done a project with manual lenses or anamorphic ones. From the beginning, we knew we wanted to go with a widescreen aspect ratio, so we went with a 384 by 1600, which is a 2.40 to 1 ratio. For those of you who might not know what that means, basically we shot widescreen. Unlike taking a normal shot like this and just adding those black bars to make it appear cinematic, we actually shot it wide, so those bars are just naturally there. To complete the rig, we paired the FX3 with an Atmos Ninja V monitor so we could see what we were filming, along with exposure tools that helped us dial in the shots. Early on in the filming, we were relying on the Sony batteries, but shortly after beginning, we switched over to the small rig V-mount batteries, which allowed us to film much longer and no longer required having spare batteries in pockets. We also used the Sennheiser MKE600 shotgun microphone along with the DJI wireless system. Between these two, we were able to record the dogs barking, the ambient sounds of the location, and get enough good audio to make it work. Since we're such a small team, we did not have a dedicated audio guy holding a boom microphone as we ran around. One of the most important pieces of our rig was actually this little follow focus from Small Rig. We would be outside, the wind would be ripping, it would be well below freezing, and we'd be walking in snow trying not to fall over. And oftentimes I'd be wearing these huge gloves, which meant my dexterity wasn't great, and I fumbled around with the camera, which resulted in accidentally moving the aperture as I was trying to adjust the focus. Adding this tiny little follow focus meant my hands were no longer touching the lens, and I could pull focus without messing with the T-stops. Idaho has to be one of the most scenic and beautiful places I have ever had the privilege of filming. And in order to capture the mountains and film the sheep, we relied on our drone, the Mavic Air 2S. This tiny little thing did the job for us. It was small enough to easily throw in a bag, but delivered a great product. All that being said, there are a few things I would have changed. When filming wildlife, usually you can't quite get as close as you might want. I wish we would have switched to zoom lenses, and next time I would not film a nature film on anamorphic, but instead as big as possible, kind of like a traditional 16:9, so you can see a bigger landscape and a bigger environment. The Sirui lenses, when things were dialed in perfectly, did wonderful, but they did struggle when lighting wasn't great. I also found it very hard to get focus right. Even with focus peaking enabled on the Ninja and the lens set to infinite focus, the image just looked too soft. We filmed handheld the entire time, but because of the anamorphic glass, we could not utilize the in-body image stabilization of the FX3. This also meant that some of our shots looked a little too handheld. Overall, this little rig was awesome and did the job. We got the movie put together, colored, audio engineered, and are putting the finishing touches on music with our composer. We've heard from everyone that has previewed the film that it looks fantastic visually, so clearly we did something right. This video is the first part of our series in the creation of our documentary and everything that went into putting the project together. If you have any questions about Unega, Great Pyrenees, Livestock Guardian Dogs, filmmaking, or just questions for Bella and I, drop them in the comments and we'll address them in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and remember to like and subscribe, and thank you for all the support through this incredible journey. We should know by February 2nd if we were accepted in the film festival. From there, we'll figure out distribution and how all of you amazing people can finally see the film. Right now, we're trying to coordinate and get a local screening in a theater here in Bellevue, Washington. So if you're local and you'd be interested to watching it on a big screen, let us know in the comments.